What's up, everyone?
What up, guys?
Welcome back to Off the Court with Joni and
Derick.
Today we have episode 4, and we are going to be talking about game day. And it might not seem like it's a lot or it's a big deal, but in the moment,
it's a big deal.
It gets crazy. So the first thing that we are going to get to is just the preparation of game day. Like, what does it look like at practice the day before the game? And then what are we thinking about in the process during the game, like as we're traveling? Because I definitely think a lot.
I don't. I just tune some music and I'm good.
Enjoy the bus ride?
Yeah. For
me, as the head coach, I really go back to thinking of, well, let's start with preparation. That way we're not like, let's start with practice.
Yeah. You're jumping everywhere.
Right? This is just all, this is how crazy it gets. So the day before a game, it's pre-game practice, and we like to keep it more light, only because sometimes some things that we implement can be very confusing. Like if we were to introduce like a new play, or we want to focus on maybe something that happened last game, but we always have to go back to realizing or thinking that we're playing a different team. They're going to have a different style, and their defense might be a little different, and we might have to really control our own offense. So when it comes to pregame practice, usually my focus is, I guess, repetition in keeping them shooting, and definitely repetition in our defense. Like, I think we really focus more on defense during pregame practices.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you think?
Well, when we do break ourselves down into those two categories, so I think it's making slight changes in our offense and then in our defense as well, because there's things that game scenarios might happen, so we try to throw those in. And just saying, what if this happens, or what do you do if this happens and you're out of place, or you shouldn't be there in that side of the area? What do you do? So we kind of throw a lot of those in there, and we try to teach it the next day because it's a little more fresh with that. Like when they show up for the game, they'll come up to us. Some of the girls will come up to us and say, "Oh, I remember. What did we say we do this?" And like, "Oh yeah." So we'll just kind of run it through them. But with all those, it's like we try to do in-game situations, but it doesn't work out the way we want it to. But we try to push a lot of that out. And with defense too, it gets a little crazy with defense.
I think defense is always going to be just the backbone of everything that we do. And we always, like, for us, we practice defense every single day. It's something that we don't ever just brush off, and like, it's always our defensive drills, and then going in and running the ball and making sure that they're moving correctly and tweaking out those fine details.
Yeah, like shifting on different types of passes, plays that the offense is running. So we kind of focus more on that. And with most of that happens, it gets a little intense. Well, just because we want to go through so much, and then there's only so much time that we can handle.
That's true. As far as, pre-game, we do try to implement also that we need to do something as a team for team bonding. And this past season, we actually were thankful, and we had some help from Coach Valdez, who stepped in and started doing like team meals and bringing food for the pre-game food for the girls. And it was usually a lot of like pasta, chicken, spaghetti, stuff like that. But it was awesome that they were able to just, you know, have food for them, and then they probably ate a little bit more when they got home, or that was their dinner. Yeah. But it's good to see that, you know, that chemistry and that team bonding. I think this year we need to just be able to sit down and have those meals together instead of them taking them
and then taking them to go. But with that, it's really about team bonding, you know, with the whole team coming together, and that's what we're trying to, you know, help with. A lot of the times, again, like we said in the last episodes, it was pretty tough for, you know, the team to come together and kind of hang out. So we can't really force that upon them, but we just try to teach them to, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So sorry, go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything.
You're ready to speak. Well, the preparation with all that, so we do a lot of things. Joni here is like getting stuff ready, like a lot of like going through a lot of the plays during practices. Same with defense, and what I do, I just sit back, I just chill.
No, you don't. So we would do film, and then over the summer we watched some coaching, what are those called? Clinics?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Clinics? Conferences?
Yeah.
Oh. And what we heard and what we learned is if our defense is like the best that it can be, and we're just doing those minor tweaks during each game or making those minor adjustments, we wouldn't have
to worry about
film and trying to see what does this team do, what kind of offense does this team run, because if the defense that we're implementing is we're teaching it the right way and it's solid, we don't have to make big adjustments. And our defense should be covering what the other team's offense is, no matter which team we play, no matter which style.
Yeah, what type of style.
So that is our goal this year, is to make sure our defense is just that top tier. We're only making minor adjustments, and we don't have to worry about what offense the other team is running, because our defense should be covering.
Yeah, so we don't want to throw all that into, our last, like, let's just say the preparation starts on Tuesday. Monday is you get back to your feet, just shoot around, run through practice. But Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, if the game's on Friday, then that's when we start focusing. But we don't want to throw all the, like, hey, if this is going to happen, they're going to run this play, you got to watch it. There's a lot of things that go on through a player's mind. So, and it's really rare that you'll have one player understand what set or what type of play is developing. And it's hard. It's hard to do that and to kind of use the defense that we do run and push that, saying, hey, this is what they run, we need to stay on this, and then we implement our defense. And sometimes it doesn't go. We learn that the hard way.
What I see that is most difficult is it confuses the players.
Yeah.
And every time we keep making these different adjustments, or we ask them to do these different things, it just confuses them. And then that's where, like, before pregame, they get a little intimidated, or they kind of get just confused, and then that kind of brings down their
energy.
Not energy, it brings down just their...
It does.
Mister, I can't be wrong. it brings quit.
Okay.
Do you remember what happened last time we did this?
Mhm.
It brings down their confidence
Yeah.
because I feel like, and I always say I feel because it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I feel like when that brings down their confidence because they think that they're not going to be able to perform the way that we expect them to. Expectations might seem like they're really high, but if it's at a varsity level and you're a varsity starter, that should be expected.
Yeah. No matter what. It's always going to be like that no matter where you go.
And it's also trying to build those skills for the JV players because they're going to eventually come up, and we cannot, set them aside and just expect them to learn that on their own.
Yeah.
So I think we really do a good job with working with both JV and varsity and making sure that we're kind of integrating that those expectations and those roles into the varsity.
Yeah. So the preparation part of it, it does take a lot out of the whole entire week. So I don't think we've really like sat down and said, "Oh, look, they do this, do this, do this." It's usually her. She usually calls me and says, "Hey, come over." I'm like, "All right." So most of the time, Coach here does most of the work, and she watches the film, and she kind of like watches what the other team does, and like, "Oh, don't worry about it. No, our defense should be good." And then sometimes it doesn't, and then we have to make those minor adjustments during in-game stuff. So the preparation does, like I said, it takes a lot out of the whole entire day or even week just to you know, teach it.
But again, that goes back to we believe in our defense, and we need to believe in what we're teaching as far as defense is going to just work.
Yeah. Work.
But that goes back to game day. And this is one thing that Derick wanted to point out was game day outfits. Like, we really try to encourage the girls to have fun with their game day outfits and just kind of go all out if they feel confident and comfortable to do that. And we really try to implement, what are they called? Prizes or only because like when I was in high school, and I'm sure you also had the same rule, is we always had to dress out.
No, just kidding.
We always had to dress out. Like, we always had to wear dresses. It was a requirement. And then that was an away game because we had to look presentable to the other schools, and that was important. And then during home games, we either dressed up or we wore our jerseys.
Oh, yeah. I remember those days. Just a little tie. I wasn't really a big fan of it growing up, but like you said, it was kind of like required, or it was a mandatory from the coaches too. But my thing is dress like relaxed. Sweats, I don't care. Shirt, hoodie, zip ups, whatever you want to put on. You don't have to wear your dress up shoes, just wear regular tennis shoes. That was my thing. So there was times where I would dress up during the day, and then right when we would jump onto the bus, I'd totally change. Everybody, "Hey, where's your outfit?" I'm like, where's your tie? I'm like, "I took it off. I didn't want to wear it." Yeah, I got in trouble, but it's okay. And I wore like my hoodie, I think it was sweatpants. Sometimes I wore my shorts, some shorts, and I was like, I don't care.
I think
I was a rebel. Yeah.
I think we talked about this during the season, but when I was in high school and it was game day, like, I was ready. Whether we were traveling or it was a home game and I was making it to the gym, I didn't have my street clothes on. I had my uniform maybe I didn't have my jersey on, but I at least had my shorts on over put some sweats on over it. And I was like always ready to play. I just felt like that's how much and how much I wanted to play and how motivated I was, and I guess how much I love the game.
I just know you shoot the ball, you score, you're up. So. I don't know. It's weird. It's different for everybody.
That's true.
For me, I did like the game. You know, I didn't take it to where I loved it. I just went there because it was a curricular activity.
Shut up.
No, I did. I played. I loved it. So I loved it.
He loved. Yeah. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I will make.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on. Coach's roles. What is your role in this time of age here? Come on.
So, coach's role during game days. What everyone sees is the head coach.
And what is she doing?
What is she doing? Up to? How come she's making this, you know? But I feel like when you're actually in a game situation and you're trying to watch the game and figure out, you know, what's going on, and it's like constantly move, and you know the time's coming down, and it's 8 minutes a quarter. I feel like everyone needs to experience that in order to understand what
goes on
in a head coach's mind during a game.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. It's like a pinball machine. It's like you hit. It's like that, just everywhere, and you're thinking like, oh my god. That's how it goes. It's kind of crazy.
That's Derick's mind.
But wait, we should run. Oh wait, we're on defense. You know, it's like that. So.
And then I really rely on Derick to just try to get subs in, right? I think that's the big thing that I rely on you as far as being on the bench. And not only that, but like you play a big role in seeing the situation as we're talking and I'm saying like certain things to you, and then I really rely on you when it comes to timeouts. Let's get a play together. And you're the one who usually comes up with those quick, okay, let's do this play. You draw it out.
Yeah, those are fun. But at the same time, it's nerve-wracking because sometimes you forget where the ball is on the court because you're like so focused into the moment. And then you have to remember about, 60 plays, and it's tough.
Yeah.
So, and when it does happen, you're like, okay, we scored. Yes. You feel good about yourself. But the part that I like, the part that I really like when she tells like the substitution, if I don't get the right substitution in, I can just see her just like that. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta be the sub in. And then I get up and I run down the bench and I'm like, you go. So it's pretty funny, but we have our takes, but I think only like a few times she's actually yelled at me. I'm like, bro, chill out. Like, chill out. They can handle like little 30, 40 more seconds. Come on. But it gets like that sometimes.
Especially the like really close, intense moments that we really need to change that momentum, or we need, someone who just is exhausted and tired, and we need someone quick to go in.
Right. So this is like all in-game situations, like during the game. But let's talk about pre-game before we actually get there.
Wait.
What are you talking about? We jumped right into.
I know.
We jumped right into like doing the game thing.
But we're not even done talking about the coaches.
Oh my bad. Come on, yo. I didn't see the board there.
See, this is why I need to yell at him sometimes.
It helps. I only respond to be yelled at. Okay, go. Come on.
Okay. So the other coaches, like everyone, and I know people are like, well, why does she have that many coaches and they're not doing anything? Okay, well, this is the thing. We have coaches to focus on defense. We have coaches to focus on offense. And when we have subs, they go and try to do the one-on-one coaching with the person who just came out of the game. Not only that, but they are the ones we get our opinions and our takes because they see it from a different point of view than how we're seeing it as the head coach and the assistant coach who is also making the plays and the subs. So don't sit there and say, why does she have all these coaches and they're not going to do anything?
One of them taking care of the basketballs, the other one's taking care of the water, make sure it's refilled, and I'm just there watching the game. So we watch the game too. So
these are all different dynamics and different points of view that we want during the game.
So if you guys want to see my notepad, I have to dig it out. So there's a bunch of scribbles in there. Sometimes there's like I play tic-tac-toe on there if I want to.
And then one other thing is we always want to have an extra coach because sometimes our players get injured.
Yep.
Sometimes they run off the court, and if it's just Derick and I
would leave.
Derick would have to be the one to leave to check on her. And
there was times and
there have been quite a few times where players had to leave, like off the bench and go to the back.
It was hard.
So we have to make sure there's a coach with that player just to make sure they're okay because some of them get anxiety. We even have a coach who has to address some of the girls getting anxiety, whether they're getting in their head and they're starting to come down from their confidence levels. So it's like you guys have to understand that yes, we need those coaches on the bench to address some of those issues. And it's not just X's, O's, running back and forth and scoring. There are so many other things that feed into a game.
And again, going back to a person or one of the players that is having a breakdown, and if she's still in the game, we're going to sub her out. But at the same time, one of the coaches is going to be attending her. And then coach here, head coach, is going to focus on the game itself. And then if she has to, she would turn around and say, hey, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? So she's constantly going back and forth. And for me, it's a little different because, like she said, I'm seeing the court. I'm watching what everybody's doing. I'm seeing what the other team is doing. And I can pick up a lot of the things pretty quick. And if I say, they're running the same play, then that's when our timeout comes. It's like, hey, this is the play that they're running. They ran this play 6 times in a row, and if we can't stop it, then it's going to become that one play. And once we catch on, there's always going to be that little break where we'll be up, start scoring, our fast breaks or our hustle down. And with that, like, it comes with all the perks of being an assistant. So that's why you assist, you help the head coach, and she's watching mainly what everybody else is doing, and I'm also watching both sides of the game. So the defense, the offense, the other team's defense, the other team's offense. And every once in a while you'll hear me say, knock down, wide open, swing the ball, swing. I just yell, swing, or drive, shoot. So that's usually how I see it, because I can actually, I don't know what it is, but I picked up this development in high school where I got out of high school, and I kind of picked up a lot of where I think and I know things are going to be open, I will do it. Ooh. So it's like you swing the ball. That's why I yell like swing. And once and I just say shoot or knock down or drive. And then I would break it down on the clipboard. Like, hey, if you guys swing the ball back and forth, by the time it comes back the other direction, it's going to be open. And they do it a couple of times and it will be open. So for me, seeing those little things will be very, very crucial during the game. And it happens with the low post too. So if you pass the ball, you get it back, pass it back, and then, you know, the girl's going to be out of position because the ball comes back out. And then you have to reposition yourself. So simple things like that, or you see a backdoor cut, and that's just part of court awareness. It's crazy, so I like it.
This is how you know he's excited. He gets all like...
Sometimes. So one time we were in a game. All right, this is awesome. One time we were playing and we got so excited, and I was trying to talk, and I kept talking, and the girls looking at me, what? You're like, Coach, I think it was one of the Heidi, or I think it was Heidi. So, Coach, calm down. I'm like, what do you mean you can't try to run? She's like, I know, but we didn't hear you the first few times. So it was like just a bunch of scratches. There wasn't even a picture on there wasn't even a picture on the, like there wasn't no X's and O's on there, but it was pretty funny. But I get excited. I get like overly excited sometimes. It's awesome.
Okay. I saw the superpowers coming out, and it's like all the wizardy stuff, all the numbers. Science.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's
Okay.
go.
And then that goes back to, I mean, pre-game preparation when we're doing the bus rides. As I mentioned, I'm thinking about a lot. I'm thinking about, you know, what we need to do, where our weakness is, how we need to focus on some of those weaknesses and make sure we don't resort back to that. And then I think the big thing is just freaking knowing and practicing what I'm going to say. Pre-game speech, huddles during the games, post-game speeches. I take that time and I really think of, what am I going to say to motivate these girls? What am I going to say to make sure that their confidence stays high? And what should I not say? What's going to bring them down? What's going to hurt them? And so I really take that time to think about that. And a lot of times, like, I'm like, oh man, I wish I recorded that because it sounded so awesome. But that's okay because it's personal. Yeah. And the players who heard it, hopefully, and I do hope that they're able to remember that and just use that as motivation in the future. Yeah. Because it's not just like, quick, I need to say this. Right.
It's always different. It's going to be different. Again, it's all different situations. And, you know, I don't know how to say it, but you're ahead and you need to keep that motivation going. But when you're down, you have to be motivating to get them motivated. And it's so different. It's so difficult too. And I think that's where she comes in, which is great. On the other hand, on coaches preparation, or the preparation part of it during game days. So if we arrive at a facility, and the first thing I do is I always tell her, like, hey, make sure the girls get their hair braided if they're going to braid their hair. Sometimes we tell them that, hey, get your hair braided, and sometimes they don't listen, so it's hard. And by the time we get to the school, it's like, oh, now it's time to braid my hair. I'm like, girl, you gotta have your hair braided if you're gonna have your hair braided. Anyways, so that happens, and then first thing I do is, hey, who needs their ankles taped? Who needs tape? Who needs this? Who needs anything? And I walk around, and they're like, no, and then I hate it every time. 10 minutes before the game, Coach, can you wrap my ankle? Mike, I told you. Every time. So it kind of takes me away from what I like sometimes do, but when I get caught up in it, I don't have time to do this. So once I get there, I always sit on our side of the bench and I just watch. I watch the other team, and it's just sitting there, just write down, jot little notes down, and then I'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'll kind of do my little research, like, oh, shoot, okay. So there's just one person, or there's a couple of persons, this, and they put pressure on, sometimes they can't handle the ball. So I kind of like do those preparations before the game. So I watch the other players, and once we're ready, we go and everybody's finished ready, getting ready, and we go to our whiteboard. And our whiteboard, we just run through pretty much what we already know.
Yeah.
And just like keep it in there. And a lot of the times you can see when our team is focused, it's like complete silence. And you'll see like this. Sometimes they'll be like, and then just their face, like, when they're ready, when the situation that they're in is like pure focus, and we just have to like, okay, we got to do this just quickly. I'm like, come on, let's go. So there's times like that, and it's awesome. It's awesome being coaches, because you're limited to so many things, but you're unlimited to a lot of resources.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
But as far as pre-game huddles and talking before pre-game, we just make sure this is the defense, this is your offense, this is what we're focusing on, and see how this first half goes. We just got to take it one half at a time. If it's a big game,
we have to get.
If it's a big game, I think the locker room is a little more serious.
Yeah. It gets a little bit more quiet, tense, if you would say.
But I think the most important thing is not showing that you're scared.
Yeah.
And just keeping poised and staying confident, because you don't ever want to show your players. And I don't care if you're rebuilding and your record is 2-10 and you're going up against the next team. That's not gonna matter. You always have to show that belief, and you just don't ever give up, regardless of where your team is at and where their record stands, because that does not determine the strength of your team.
Right.
Being a 2-10 team doesn't determine who your players are, and it doesn't determine your coaching and your coaching style. And
there was this like quote that I read, or I can't remember if I heard it, but it's been a while, but it's, we can work on all the little basics, and inside practices, it's team effort. But if you work on your defense, your offense is going to be building throughout the whole entire year. So you have all season to work on your offense until the big game, the big dance, you could say.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to.
And when all of this really matters is state playoffs, and also your players after basketball. How are they after basketball?
Right.
How are they going to use what they learned here in a different sport or in life? And we tell the girls this all the time, like, I don't think you're ever going to remember your wins and losses. Like, do you know what your wins and losses are in high school?
No.
Your senior year?
I just wanted to shoot. I just wanted to play.
Like, it's not about, like, when it really comes down to it, it's not about, in high school we had this record and we had this record. That's not going to be the point. The point and the main focus is the relationships you build with your teammates, the relationships you build with your coaches. Are your coaches still supporting you after you graduate high school? Are they still supporting you in life? And I feel like that is the takeaway with high school sports.
Yeah. And with all that, it's like when we have our little huddles, we're not just doing it because, you know, we just want them to huddle. It's again creating that team bonding. There's activities we do, you know, and with that you're building a relationship with a ninth grader or a 10th grader or whatever grade you're in. You're just in a different environment with different players. So you get to know somebody, you get to know this other person. They might like the same thing, or you know, you may be cousins, you know.
Oh man, that it a lot of people don't understand. Like, this is why we try to get spring or summer training going.
Yeah.
This is why we try to get summer practices in, because when we're bringing the incoming freshmen, it already creates that
Right.
that bond and that relationship, and they already become familiar with the coaching style or what high school practices are going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we really hit the nail on the head with that this summer,
Right.
because we had a lot of
It's
incoming
so great.
freshmen.
Yeah, it's so great.
It's been awesome.
And we're going to continue that. So we're going to continue it until, I guess, we leave or whatever happens.
Until I get there, right?
No,
That's too far.
Oh. Okay, post game. Post game. This here is probably, I don't know, well, how would you say it? It's probably one of the most talked about. You can say, oh, you can do all the preparation work. You can say, oh, you know, we try to do this, but at the end of the game, it's different, because you're either happy because you won, or you're completely sad and you're frustrated and you're mad. And those are probably the two things that really, really get to you as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. You can go ahead. I'm like, no, go ahead.
I think just from the game, our huddle or our post game determines how the game went.
Yeah.
If it was like barely, we should have won, you know, we usually just, nope, stay positive. We're going to do a quick team meeting, and then we're going to let you guys go.
Right.
And it's not sitting and basking. And then we implemented the 8-hour rule, because, or was it 8 or 12?
8.
8-hour rule, where you can be mad, you can be sad, you can be happy, excited about the game, but 8 hours later, we're focusing on the next game.
Yeah.
And I really see that made a big difference, because a lot of times the players would carry over their
Emotions,
sadness
yeah.
and their emotions to practice, and then that carries over to their performance and the confidence, and it kind of just all intertwined and made a mess.
It did. But we kind of broke a lot of things down during the post game, so we're not very strict on a few things.
I like to focus on what we did great, and also during our 3-point meetings, I always go through, so and so did this, let's give her a big, you know,
Yeah.
so and so performed this, or hey, everyone scored. I think that is the biggest thing. Is I really love that we can go into the locker room and say, everyone scored, guys. We got everyone to score, because that's just about the team. Like, that is a team effort to be able to get everyone to score on the team.
And it's hard. And it's really hard.
So it's really going to focus on how the game went, is what determines what our post game is going to be like. But we always focus on the strengths, and we don't talk about the negatives until the next day.
Yeah. So it's more positive. Even if we take a loss, and you know, we should say, hey, we did great. You know, you shouldn't be ashamed that, you know, you did this. But it's more of saying, okay, we can do this better. We can do this better. You know, you did all you could. So,
yeah. That's really all. That's really all it is. I don't think we've ever said a bad or negative thing to any players. It was more of either constructive criticism as a team. And I always, as a coach, I always take the fall for some of that. And I apologize to the girls, especially when I know it's something that we should have done better in coaching.
Yeah.
And I express that to them. Hey, this is my fault. I apologize. We should have done this better. It's not all the time that I do that, but when I'm wrong and I know that I messed up, I'm not afraid to express that to the team. And then I feel like that shows them that it's okay to make the mistake. It's okay to express that and really be genuine in apologizing and knowing that you could do better.
Yeah. So it's not only the players, it's also us coaches as well. It kind of comes back to us, and we always talk to each other after the game. It's like, man, we should have done this better.
And then we're on our coaching group chat, like, oh guys, we could, you know. So again, the other coaches play a vital part in how we see things and how we view things, and what is working for the team and what is not working for the team.
Yep.
So the other coaches do play a vital part in some of those decisions we make.
Right. Crazy, but I am looking forward to this year.
I am too. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we are so excited for this coming year. And there it is, episode 4, game day. It's not just about showing up. It's a lot of things that come into consideration before the game, or during practice before the week, during the game, during the day we leave, in the locker room, in game huddles, before the game, whatever, it like comes right down to it. And there's a lot to handle. And I don't know how we do it, but
and that's just coaching the team. It doesn't involve what I have to do as administrative work. Booking the hotel rooms if we need them, sending itineraries, setting up.
So I'm supposed to be doing that as assistant, but I'm not by the computer whatsoever. I try to, but I just I got fed up with it.
So I think people need to see that part of it. Like me as a head coach, I am doing all the administrative stuff too. Sending itineraries out.
We're sending text messages to the parents, and it just, the list goes on. So you're not done being a coach until you're a coach.
Even when the game's over, you're not done being a coach, because you have to make sure your parents, you get signed out, everyone has a ride, everyone's going to get picked up. And so that's why, like, when we really feed in and support these children, it's because they're like our children, and we have to make sure they're safe, they're fed. Like we even buy food for some of them who might not have enough food, and it's just that's why I enjoy it.
It's awesome. For me, it's still a learning curve, and with our kids too.
And we're away from our kids
all the time.
All the time. I hate that, but it comes with...
Okay, that's a joke.
We're not cruel. We love our children.
We love it. We love this. So thank you guys for the support, and
we appreciate you. Thank you for your support. And we hope you enjoyed this episode
of episode 4, game day preparation. Let's go. Bye.
Like